From a slow beginning 30 years earlier, Miami in the 1920s was in the midst of a frenzied real estate boom. While some built on their dream to strike it rich, a group of Miami pioneers decided to build something far greater: community. These men and women realized that the prosperity of the fledgling town depended on economic growth, as well as the health and welfare of its residents. Together, they created the Miami Community Chest, precursor to the present-day United Way of Miami-Dade. Creating an organization that could unite the community resonated across the city. A Miami Herald article wrote, quote, "No movement ever undertaken in this city has so thoroughly attracted the attention of the citizens of Miami and so taken hold of their imagination," end quote. Those early visionaries could hardly have imagined their efforts would spark a movement spanning 9 decades and still growing strong today. The story of United Way is the story of Miami. It is a story of hope, compassion, and goodwill. From the beginning, the Chest was challenged by the town's growing social needs. The first campaign in 1924 lasted 3 days and raised $140,000. It was distributed among 12 agencies, including employment programs at the YWCA to help young women support themselves, citizenship classes at Miami Central High for Scandinavian immigrants to help them adapt to a new nation, and free health screenings and dental exams for children at Red Cross clinics. Just 2 years after its first campaign, the organization dealt with the devastating hurricane of 1926. In the years to come, the 26 storm would be the first of many natural disasters that would challenge the organization and its leadership. Throughout the Great Depression, the Chest led the Central Council of Social Agencies to help coordinate services for those in need and distribute federal aid, including bread and flour, to hungry families. By the early 40s, with a world war looming, servicemen began pouring into South Florida. The Chest combined with the War Chest to do its part, including supporting nurseries for children of working moms, welfare programs for dislocated war families, and the USO. Red Feather campaigns were in vogue through the 40s and 50s, with the Chest employing a bit of flash to drum up support. A lion stole the show at one luncheon, and a circus, complete with elephants, paraded along Flagler Street.
From when it was nothing until it was something.
As a modern skyline began to take shape and thousands of servicemen made South Florida their new home, the Chest developed innovative ways to meet the needs of a changing population. Fair Share Giving debuted in the early 50s, allowing employees to contribute using payroll deduction.
An additional vehicle to permit the employees of Dade County to give their fair share.
In 1953, the campaign reached $1 million and extended services to more than 230,000 needy residents. Today, the number of dollars raised exceeds $50 million. In the 1960s, Miami saw the arrival of the first wave of Cuban nationals fleeing the Castro regime. The United Fund, as the organization was then known, joined with the city to form the Cuban Refugee Committee to help feed, clothe, and find employment for the new arrivals. The exodus included hundreds of children through Operation Pedro Pan.
Siempre es mejor dar y cooperar que tener que recibir.
Today, as adults, those Pedro Pan men and women are helping others find their place in South Florida. In the 70s, Miami became a gateway community, straddling continents. While an international status boosted Miami's image, the cocaine cowboy days also brought a new set of challenges. The United Fund helped coordinate anti-drug efforts, as well as respond to the needs of a growing community of older adults. By 1980, the organization adopted its new name, an iconic logo. United Way responded to emerging issues, including AIDS, Alzheimer's, and gang violence in the community. Crises can be defining moments for organizations, and Hurricane Andrew was exactly that for this United Way. In its aftermath, United Way put more than 70,000 volunteers to work rebuilding Miami-Dade County, reminding us all of the organization's greatest strength, bringing people together. From that, a new mission was born, building community by helping people care for one another. United Way's focus on improving early education for all children also began in the 90s, ultimately leading to the creation of the United Way Center for Excellence in Early Education, which opened in 2007. 2 years later, with the economy struggling, United Way opened its Center for Financial Stability to help working families pave a path to financial independence. Throughout its 90-year history, United Way has consistently addressed the social needs of a diverse and changing Miami. The strength of the organization, then and now, lies in the men and women, hundreds of thousands of volunteers who have given their time, talent, and resources to make Miami the very best it can be. These are the faces of United Way. These are the faces of Miami at its best. People coming together for the good of the community for the past 90 years and into the 21st century.
As we look around us and still think of what's to come, we can say with honesty, isn't it great to live in Miami? Good night.